With the turn of the millennium came the M3 of the E46 generation. And you can see that I have a beaming face when talking about it. That is because this generation of the 3 Series is the one that I love the most. And this is also the first ever M3 that I drove. So it has a special place in my heart. It is my absolute favorite. The E46 M3 was a very special looking car, and the coupe styling took the hearts of the sports car fans by storm. The coupe was launched in 2000, and a year later the convertible model followed. The M3 was easily distinguished from its standard 3 Series sibling thanks to the wider fenders, special side skirts and the revised front apron. In addition to giving the car a distinctive look, they also lent it crucial aerodynamic performance. The E46 M3 also featured a gurney flap at the rear, more like a small spoiler lip which reduced the lift and helped with better traction in fast corners. I don't obsess over shape or stylistic elements of a car all that much, but when a car is specially created, it needs special attention. The side mirrors on the E46 M3 were masterfully sculpted to cut through the air more effectively. The E46 had the S54B32 engine which built on the legacy of the E36. It was almost entirely new, and the 3.2-litre inline-6 produced 343 bhp and 365 Nm while revving eagerly to a crazy high 8,000 RPM. This engine was so good that it registered 8 wins at the prestigious Engine of the Year Awards. The E46 M3 was available with either a 6-speed manual or the 6-speed SMG. The automated manual getting paddle shifters on the steering wheel with this generation. The M3 also came with a limited slip differential as standard. The most special creation in the E46 M3 development, and in fact one of the most special M3s ever created, was the CSL. It's a badge that gave every M3 enthusiast goosebumps. The engineers took a lot of their motorsport know-how and shaved off 110 kilos from the stock M3 to create the CSL, which weighed 1385 kilograms. The CSL used composite materials in its construction. The rear diffuser, front apron, intake and even some parts of the interior were made of special lightweight materials, and the bonnet was made of aluminium. The roof was all carbon fiber. The M division also created very special and super rare M3 GTR street cars. Only 10 of them were produced as an obligation to an American Le Mans Series regulation which required manufacturers to create road legal versions of their race cars. The M3 GTR had a detuned 4-litre V8 from the race car and developed 350 bhp. But it was still a hardcore model and had its comfort equipment removed, while the roof, front and rear aprons as well as the rear wing were all made of carbon reinforced plastic. Right, the fourth installment of the M3, and this one gets on my nerves a little bit. I did not understand the need for 3 different platform nomenclatures back when this generation was launched, and I still do not understand it. The E9X generation, as it was called for easier understanding, spread over 3 body styles. The E90 was the sedan, the E92 was the coupe, and the E93 was the convertible. Why could BMW not use just one of those for the platform and then add the body type next to it? The E92 or the coupe was launched first, so we could have simply gone with that name. The interesting thing is that the sedan was shorter, taller and wider than the coupe and the convertible, so a fair bit of its bodywork was also unique. The M division had not produced a four-door version of the E46 M3, and the great demand in the Americas for the E36 M3 sedan made the company rethink product strategy, and that is how it created the sedan version with the new generation. As one would expect, the coupe was the most desirable, but all the body versions came with a largely similar front end. The bonnet had the signature power dome to accommodate the new engine. It also received a carbon fiber roof that not just saved weight but also lowered the M3's center of gravity. The new engine, it was purpose-built, naturally aspirated 4-litre V8 that revved to 8400 RPM and produced very meaty numbers, 420 bhp and 400 Newton meter. In fact, this engine was unlike any other BMW V8 but was closely related to the V10 found in the E60 M5. But unlike the V10, the V8 had a double Vanos variable valve timing system that operated at normal oil pressure and negated the need for a separate high-pressure oil pump. This reduced the weight of the engine by 8.4 kilograms, while further weight was removed by deleting the electrical oil return pump. But despite the use of lightweight materials in overall construction and extreme measures towards weight saving, the M3 wasn't exactly light like the previous generations, tipping the scales at over 1650 kilos. The M3 got a 6-speed ZF manual gearbox as standard fitment, but a dual clutch transmission was available as an option. The latter helped the M3 hit the 100 km/h mark in 4.6 seconds, while the manual needing 0.2 seconds longer, and the top speed was limited to 250 km/h. The M3 received an upgraded version of the M variable differential lock and the M drive, which was a feature available on the M5 before. The M drive allowed the driver to customize several things like the throttle response, suspension damping, power steering response and traction control. The E9X generation's greatest hit creation was the GTS. It was created as a car that could be a daily driver and be a focused racer in club sport events.